Hello there everyone, JT Viper here with a very quick, unscripted video answering a question that was posed by one of the people I follow on Twitter. Now, people might be a little bit, might be a little bit non-PC for me to say. The individual posting this was an otter. Yes, this was from Otterface Tweets, and she had asked, how can it be that the counterculture is conservatism, or conservatism is the counterculture, when, well, the Republicans now run the U.S. for the most part, all three houses, and it's got some validity to the question. When you see that a certain party has wrestled control of, well, the vast majority of the political system in a country, how can you claim that this is not now the establishment? The answer comes from, at least in my understanding, how you, of course, define what the establishment is. The establishment, in my mind, is the prevailing authority in society. Now, much as our elected officials act as a representation of the sentiment in society, it's not always an accurate representation, and that's probably no better understood anywhere in North America than here in Canada, where we operate on a first-past-the-post voting system with 4 major parties. Let's just suffice it to say that things get a little hazy when it comes to whether or not our ruling political party actually represents the majority of Canadians, or even comes close to being representative of the overall votes cast. Because let's not forget, here in Canada, if you're conservative, you absolutely are the counterculture. Now, I know we're speaking about the US here, but as an example, only 32% of all votes cast in the last federal election were for the Canadian Conservative Party, the Progressive Conservatives. No, not to be confused with progressives as a whole with the social justice movements. No, only 32% voted for Canada's most popular right-leaning party. Next up on that list would, I suppose, be elements of the Bloc Québécois, which is down in the, single-digit voting percentages. And even then, that's a mixed bag. So how can conservatism still be the counterculture? In this way, academia and the social discourse are still controlled by rules, mainly put in place by the progressive left, by individuals who still want to tone police and who want to dictate how it is that you are allowed to think. Tenured professors and many other educational individuals, all the way up from primary, secondary schools into post-secondary education, share by majority this same leaning. To me, although I don't know and I can't speak for others, it's more important to address the people teaching the most impressionable minds in the country than it is to look at those who are representing, to varying degrees of accuracy, the voting age members of society. So I suppose that answers the question. To put it in a too long didn't listen sort of way, when you control the educational systems, you become the establishment, because you become the factory that cranks out the minds of the future, not to get too cliche. You become the factory churning out citizens of tomorrow who will typically share the opinions of their peers, which is most often, at least when it comes to history and academic subjects, most often informed by those teachers. I hope that gives a little bit of light to it. I understand that it can be confusing to have a system, a political system, currently run by one side and while still claiming to hold that side as the counterculture. But there are still elements that ring true in that statement. Anyway, this has been a rambling, almost 4 a.m. Viper Unscripted. Hope you all have a great morning, and thank you for listening.